Quote, "Free the children from poverty. Free the children from exploitation. Free the children from the idea that they are powerless to change the world." End quote, Craig Kielburger. Think back to your childhood years. That was the life. Stress was just another word that Mommy and Daddy talked about, and it flew over your head faster than your new remote-controlled car airplane. The only punishment possible was that dreaded timeout chair. Now, picture your brand new toys being replaced with heavy machinery and your palace with an unstable factory. Instead of playing with your friends, you were forced to work from 12 to 16 hours every day, 6 days a week, barely making enough money to feed yourself. Imagine doing this all on your own with no family or no friends for the rest of your life. The horrific scenes of child labor crippled the once heartwarming glimpse of childhood. Every minute of every day, millions of children just like you and I are in this depressing situation with no hope of ever escaping. Child labor should be inexistent as it is inhumane. Those involved miss the opportunity of a proper education and childhood, and it does not display empathy. No matter how big or how small, we can all change the world and stop child labor. Firstly, child labor should be inexistent as it is inhumane. Over 250 million people are involved in child labor every day. You're probably wondering, how do these unlucky children become involved in child labor? In most cases, the child's own family sold them to a company. Usually, the family was unable to support the child by themselves. By sending the child into labor, the child could support itself. Imagine a 4-year-old being shipped off to a labor camp by themselves with no family, no friends, no nothing. Most of the child labor facilities wouldn't even come close to the Canadian Health and Safety Inspection Guidelines. The buildings are damaged and with some war-torn stuff and other stuff like that, and they are very unsafe. In addition, the bosses mistreat the children. If the children disobey the boss, they would get badly beaten or even shot. Secondly, child labor should be inexistent as children involved cannot receive a proper education or childhood. If poor children are stuck working all day, how are they supposed to get an education? In Canada, we spend over 2,000 hours of schooling every year. In child labor camps, they spend over 7,000 hours working a year. 7,000 hours! How is a 4-year-old supposed to spend 7,000 hours working? It's crazy, isn't it? It doesn't seem fair, does it? In addition, if children were constantly working, how are they supposed to receive a proper childhood? It wouldn't be fun-filled, would it? They will never experience the simple things in life, such as riding a bicycle or flying a kite. It just seems so unfair. I just don't understand it. Why would people do that? Quote, "Children are not simply empty vessels waiting to be filled. We are people with ideas, talents, opinions, and dreams." End quote, Craig Kielburger. Lastly, child labor should be inexistent as it does not display empathy. Empathy is the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes. For example, playing the role of a child laborer. Picture yourself waking up at dawn and heading off to work. Your unfriendly boss gives you a nice beating before you go. You work for 12 to 16 hours, pulling apart used needles with absolutely no protection. And then you head home. By the way, your home is a dump site. Congratulations, you made $2 today. Whoa! Successful day, huh? I am positive that you would not want to endure that every day for the rest of your life. So why should innocent children be? Quote, "I was angry with the world for letting these things happen to children. Why was nothing being done to stop this cruelty?" End quote, Craig Kielburger. In addition, there are so many things that we take for granted. Next time you go shopping, do you really need another shirt? Think of where that shirt came from. It probably came from a child laborer camp. It's depressing to know that most of the child laborers don't even know what they're creating. They just make something and send it off to some lucky kid a million miles away who gets to use it. That doesn't seem fair, does it? In conclusion, child labor is awful. Period. Why should innocent children have to endure such painful punishment? Every single one of us can create change for our world, no matter how big or how small. Child labor should be inexistent for future generations, as it is inhumane. The children involved cannot receive a proper education or childhood and does not display empathy. As Mother Teresa once said, we must always realize that we can do no great things, only small things with great love. End quote.